Hi everyone, my name's Ethan Barclay-Anu and I'm the owner of Get Flocked Knitting in Christchurch, New Zealand. I am on vacation right now and taking a little break, but I'm bringing you these 4 pre-recorded episodes that all share something a little bit different about my knitting or about what's been going on at the shop or some other great things that I've encountered in knitting that we might not even have at the shop. So I'm going to share a little bit about what's been going on with my knitting journey and other things in knitting with you each week. A tour of some of my favorite things that I've been working with lately, a few of the days, and often some information about how projects have helped shape the way that I view my knitting today. If you like any of these videos and you're looking for something more in-depth in your knitting diet, please do consider joining the Flock online. It is undergoing a renaissance as I shift into a new framework for it that is making a focused decision to ensure that we are making the process of making the center of the attention. So with all of that said, thank you so much for joining me on the channel. I do hope that you will like and subscribe. Please tell your friends about Get Flocked, even if they don't knit. Some people might find it entertaining. I will be back with my regularly scheduled Christine after this vacation hiatus, and I cannot wait to see what she has made. Thank you all of you again for watching, and I will see you when I'm back. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, can you settle down, please? Because now Daddy has to film this as one segment again. Okay, get settled. No, not in Daddy's elbows. Don't do it. Okay. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me on this special edition of What the Flock. This episode is pre-recorded and I am on vacation right now, as the preamble has mentioned. I'm joined again by Baudelaire, my French bulldog, who I also call Bobo, and we're here to tell you today about my 5 favorite knits this year. Some of the patterns, because they are self-designed, may not have been published to Ravelry due to some photo constraints yet at this point, but they are all available from my web store, and you can very easily find substitute patterns for everything that I'm going to show you. What I'm most excited about with all of these different shawls and garments, that's right, 2 different shawls and 3 different garments, are the yarns that I've used that we've either already brought in or going to be bringing to you. I thought I'd talk a little bit about each one and what made them so special for me this year. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that you enjoy this segment all about my 5 favorite knits so far this year. So let's start out with number 5. This was definitely a sublime yarn choice and a super fun knit. It is only in 5th because the others were all a little more overwhelming, and this was just as beautiful as anticipated. This is Earth and Sky in the originally designed yarn from the Fibre company, Road to China Light, and this is a pattern by Stephen West. It is the first mystery knit along. It took 3 colors to knit it and taught me that intarsia, as Christine has said many times, is indeed easy and fun. The effect of it is really beautiful, and it is a little bit of some hack and slash intarsia due to the nature of the increases and decreases, but it's very easy to weave in your ends at the end and have a beautiful wrong side effect as well. And the yarn here really is the star of the show and tells the complete story, in my opinion. So I used Road to China Light, which is what Stephen originally designed the pattern in, and I put 3 tassels on it because I like tassels for weight. The garter border wasn't giving it quite enough oomph to hang well either like this or on the body. And I really love knitting it. The pattern was well written. The repeats were simple. It was very quick to knit. It's a sport weight on a 3.75. The stitch count didn't get overwhelming. The rows overall were quite manageable, changing color quite frequently, made it really, really enjoyable to work through. And the yarn was so pleasing to work with. I've used Road to China Light before to knit a shawl, and so this lived up to my memory and expectation. I often describe Road to China Light by the Fibre company as everything soft but no wool. So alpaca, baby camel, silk, and cashmere. And it is priced as such, but absolutely fabulous. And the shawls and garments that it produces are lightweight, gorgeously warm, and incredible to wear next to your skin. For shawls especially, putting this right next to your face is so pleasant. Even Bobo loves it, don't you, Bobo? This is one of my shawls, so my dog is allowed to do what he wants with it. He does have a bohemia blanket over there. And I absolutely have loved knitting it, and it was very easy to block, very easy to wear, and I have gotten quite a lot of use out of it already. I made mine in beautiful, soft, neutral shades, which I think really suits the pattern, but you could do this in bright and bold colors in all sorts of different ways to elicit different effects. You could use a gradient yarn or a hand dyed in one of the places, and I think get a really beautiful job. So this was definitely something where the yarn and the pattern came together to give me exactly what I wanted and more than the sum of their parts. The Road to China Light is certainly fabulous and something that if you don't have something in your wardrobe right now knit in it, you should start planning, even something small, because it will be gloriously warm and soft and something you reach for time and time again. It is sport weight and it does come in a 50-gram hank, and we do always have some available in store and some other options and things along the way. We have done kits for this, and I hope those of you who have cast on enjoyed your experience as much as I enjoyed mine. So that one is definitely there. Now, for me, this next one is a bit of a tease, and I'm putting it down low because you can't have it yet, and that does feel like a bit of a tease. So this is my toile number 3, which is not out yet, but will be out actually before toile number 2. How embarrassing. And this is knit in Robinson by Durarum Natura. This is a wool and cotton yarn where some of the wool and some of the cotton end is left undyed, and the rest of it is dyed with natural indigo. It takes this particular shade, it's taken the color really beautifully and created something that looks like that soft sweatshirt worn look. And it's looked like this from the moment I knit it, from during the knitting. It was glorious to knit with, actually, which is something I've never said before about a cotton yarn, and has definitely made me excited to try some other yarns that are sitting over there for me to talk about in a different video on a different platform. The Robinson was a joy to work with. The color is exactly what I would have wanted out of this. It looks like, as I said, worn sweatshirt material or denim. It's very, very beautiful, and I think that you will love knitting with it and wearing it. It is a true DK yarn, and I think will wear beautifully over time and is certainly a workhorse. Bobo, do you approve of this one too? Do you like this yarn? What do you think? Oh yes, we love the daddy. That's good. Do we love the yarn? What do we think? Yeah. And we certainly do love the yarn. Bobo is French and this is French, so that makes sense. And it just has such a beautiful quality. Up close, it is gorgeous. It's beautiful to wear next to your skin. You won't have any problems with that, trust me. I wear this without anything else underneath. Risque, I know. And the overall color dimension of each of the different shades that we've seen so far offers a lot, making the most of the incorporation of the white and the undyed portions, which I really appreciate about the way that the colors are all balanced in both this range and in its lighter sister, Candide. So Robinson into my toile number 3. If you're looking for your next great DK weight project for year-round wear, not just in the summer, I cannot recommend it enough, and we will be carrying this one a little bit later on this year, so keep your eyes peeled. It comes in 10 beautiful shades. Also in 100-gram balls, just as a side note, insane meterage. That took less than 5 balls to knit that entire pullover for myself. I thought for sure I would be 6 balls deep, but I was not. 5 was all it took. Now, next up are 2 garments that are the exact same. So they're going to be number 2 and 3 and tied, but I'm going to talk about them one after the other. They are both my toile number 2, a pattern that's going to take a little bit longer to come out. Then the toile number 3, ironically. And I really enjoyed making both of these. I have worn them both far too much without taking photographs, and they will definitely show you that. I wear these probably each about twice a week, which is not a great habit to be in with your samples, but I was so thrilled with how comfortable and how beautiful they are and how great they look that I just couldn't stop wearing them. So in no particular order, my toile number 2s. This first one is in Acadia by the Fibre company. I use the colorway Marooned, which is a deep dark purple. The lovely friends at Knit Night helped me pick it. Acadia is one of my favorite yarns of all time. It is also a DK weight yarn. It's a blend of baby alpaca, silk noir, and merino. It knits up gorgeously. It has a very high twist to it, and it's a 2-ply construction. It feels like wearing warm water. I don't know how else to put it. It's an incredible feeling yarn. I will say it absolutely needs to be made into garments. It begs to be made into beautiful, enveloping, soft garments like this. It is polished in its nature, but the depth of color that's produced through the dyeing and blending process of the different fibers is incredible. I do recommend, and they recommend as well, to alternate skeins. And the finished garment is something that you would want to reach for to wear every single day. There are a lot of great patterns already out there for Acadia, and this is definitely a conversation that's more about these 50-gram hanks of yarn that made this beautiful thing than the actual pattern, which, as I said, might take a hot minute. Don't tell them Bobo. But I really, really, really cannot stress enough how much I've enjoyed working with this yarn. The knitting, the blocking, it dried very quickly. The seaming was effortless. I really loved it. I do think it has a lot to offer those of you who knit top down as well. And I think that if you look through the selection of patterns that has been developed for it over time, you're going to find a wide variety of fascinating knits that take the most advantage of Acadia's beautiful fabric that the Silk Noir really emphasizes by taking a slightly different hue and shift and contrast shade to the other fibers as it takes the color with that brighter, bolder nature of silk, especially given its raw, untamed nature, as they say right in the name, inspired by untamed wilderness. It's definitely inspired by untamed wilderness. I love wearing it. I love knitting it, and I'm very, very pleased with the pattern and how it's come out. And so that leads us naturally into our next of my top 5 knits so far in 2025. Are you going to do a drum roll, Bobo? Can you do a drum? He can't do anything, by the way. He's very cute, though. And that's what matters. That's what matters. So, well, Bobo, what do you think about this one? It's Danish. He's not going to get up for this either. So this is another toile number 2, another one of my patterns that I really love making. And I'm actually probably knitting one as you're watching this. In roughly this yarn combination. I'm definitely using Arwetta, but this time I'm using, not this one, but the other one. I'm using the Issy or Silk Mohair. But this one is knit in Arwetta and Tilia in Ice Blue, both from Filcolana. Filcolana was a really happy discovery of ours about a year ago, and I've been working quite extensively with their yarns. This one is definitely a favorite and gets worn a ton. I cannot get over how well it wears, and I really, really love the fabric combination. It's incredibly soft feeling once blocked, and it just so comfortable to wear all day that you kind of forget it's on. I love the warmth that the Silk Mohair adds to the superwash and nylon base, and the superwash and nylon base definitely adds to the overall rigidity and structure while not detracting from the fluidity. And I think the seams do help with that. But I can't speak highly enough of the combination of Arwetta and Tilia. This one took 6 balls of each to make this garment in my size. It is a standard raglan. If you love a top-down DK weight raglan, like something by Petite Knits, for example, the No Frills raglan, this yarn combination is amazing for those sorts of patterns. I do like to knit mine flat and seam them, but I think the Danish yarns, there's a wonderful opportunity from what I've experienced so far with all the different brands and bases to mix and match fingering weight and light fingering weight yarns and different silk mohairs together to create beautiful fabrics that are almost ethereally the same gauge at all times and just simply incredible to work with. Filcolana, if it's something you haven't explored, has an extensive variety of bases. We are adding by the day the colors and the selection of bases, and I think that you will find a lot on offer from Filcolana that piques your interest. They have an extensive free pattern catalog and also have partnered extensively with different Danish designers like My Favorite Things Knitwear and Petite Knits, and they also have an internal design team that, as I said, gives out free patterns in beautifully well thought out collections that feature all sorts of different construction methods and approaches. I really love this pullover. I thrash it. As I said, it definitely, along with the other one, gets worn once a week, if not more. It's incredibly comfortable. The fabric and the design came together in that classically Danish minimal way to create something just, in my opinion, absolutely beautiful, soft, and so wearable. If you're looking for something to indulge in your next knitting project that's also going to give you leftovers that you can do lots with and so many other great benefits from getting familiar with this brand, I would highly recommend this yarn combo and getting amongst the Filcolana. Now, a disclaimer, because we sell these patterns now and we have these labels and all these other great things, and I'm so thrilled to be welcoming them to the shop. And I was convinced already by the knitters in my local and evening knitting group that this needed to happen. And moreover, after I knit something recently, my number one favorite knit so far of 2025 is in Isager yarn. And it is a Petite Knits Sophie hood in the color 100 in Isager Soft. No one is more surprised by this news than I am, everyone, to be honest. But I knit this thinking I would just leave it at the shop as a sample. And so far, I have worn it almost every single day since I knit it. It is the most comfortable and beautiful thing that I have knit. It was so simple to make. I really love it. The design process that went into it was clearly really well thought out by Petite Knits. Kudos to her for continuing to adapt and expand this pattern family into something simply phenomenal. I really love the way that the depth of color plays out. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I knit this in Isager Soft, so it's a cotton core yarn with alpaca blown through it and knit in. Comes in 50-gram balls. I used 4 balls total with lots left over to make the large size. This is the large. It does knit longer on one side and shorter than the other because increases take more yarn and decreases allow for more yarn. So they will be different until you block them. Don't worry, they come out the exact same. This particular knit definitely taught me that I definitely love simplicity, and when it's done really well, like this particular pattern is, it's of great value, and I can't speak highly enough of the design. And if I had more time, would consider making a second one because I wear it that much. I think my staff are now knitting them. Almost everyone in our knitting group is making one. They're fabulous and popular for a reason, and I 10 out of 10 recommend this pattern and this yarn for it specifically. The Isager Soft has also been quite a discovery for me. And several of the yarns that I've already shown you were as well, as they've all, like 3 things here contain alpaca, which is unusual for me. 2 contain cotton. It's a wild west of new discoveries. And what I'm learning is previous assumptions around things that I had have really changed the way that milling and making yarns has changed over time. And it's important to put our trust into brands that have delivered previously. And if they've delivered previously, I think we need to start trusting, as much as is reasonable, that the products that they're bringing now are going to work. I'm still going to continue testing them before I offer them to you because I think that's responsible. And this definitely has passed the test. The Isager Soft is delightfully well-wearing, incredibly good value, exceptionally light and warm, very soft and comfortable, and it has everything you could possibly ask for in a great shawl or garment yarn and a bulky weight. So if you're after something like that, 10 out of 10, do recommend Isager Soft and this delightful pattern by Petite Knits, the Sophie Hood, which we may have in store, and we definitely have the Isker Soft. So you need 4 balls to make the large size. If you've been looking for your next, it's on a 5mm needle. If you've been looking for your next project, let us help you out and get this sorted so that if you've been stuck on something or if you just want to make one now that you've seen mine, please do. This is color 100, which is navy. I can't promise you how much of anything we have left in stock, but I absolutely loved making it. The yarn was a complete surprise and joy, and the overall process was great. And it's been so good to be able to offer something that's accessible in so many different ways to different knitters of different levels to enjoy. You can also knit it using a DK weight yarn held together with a silk mohair. I would recommend a silk mohair plus Acadia. That has turned out to be a sumptuous combination, but you can find your own way through that. If you need help with anything or you're looking for your next little bit of inspiration, stay tuned here. I will be back in August with Christine and some others to keep your cylinders firing. We do have a year-long knit-along going on right now that runs until the end of the year. It's only half a year long. I'm not editing this. And that is all about rectangular wraps. So if you've cast on a rectangular wrap anytime after the beginning of July, I think, end of July, and you finish it anytime before the end of this year, please send us an email photo of it as long as it's been knit in yarn that we sell at any point from any of our brands. Don't worry, we're not like that. Please send us a photo of it so that we can send you your prize, which is going to be a 15% discount for every finished large rectangular wrap. We have a list of them that we are going to be publishing that will give you insight on which ones are recommended. Thank you so much for watching, and as I probably said in the preamble, and I'm going to say it again here, please like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have enjoyed having Beau Beau along for the ride today. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye. Beau Beau. Daddy has to get up. Can Daddy get up? Okay, I know. It's hard work being a baby. Daddy has to get up. I have to get up. Okay. Beau Beau, Daddy has to get up. I have to shut the camera off. Okay. Can I be a big boy? No, you're a baby. Okay. I'm sorry, everyone. Oh.